Welcome back, everyone. In today's explainer, we're pulling back the curtain to uncover the hidden triggers behind the decisions you make every single day. We're diving into the fascinating psychology of persuasion. Because, we all like to think we're in complete control of our choices. But as we're about to see, there are some pretty powerful forces at play just beneath the surface.
I mean, be honest with yourself for a second. Have you ever bought something you absolutely did not need? Or maybe you sat through an entire movie you weren't even interested in just because everyone else is watching and talking about it. We have literally all been there. In the moment, it feels like our own independent choice, but is it really? Or what about this? Have you ever clicked on one of those limited time offer banners when you were originally just window shopping? You know the exact feeling. You wanted to say no, but suddenly there's a flashing timer staring you in the face, and you end up clicking buy completely against your better judgment. If any of this rings a bell, it proves one undeniable fact. You are a target of influence. And it happens because of these invisible strings. The truth is, there are thousands of advertisers, companies, politicians, and social media platforms pulling these strings all around us, constantly competing for your attention. They're using deeply rooted psychological principles to guide your daily decisions. So the big question is, why do they work so incredibly well? Well, at its core, persuasion is just the science of changing attitudes and behavior. And nobody really understands this better than renowned psychologist Robert Cialdini. He actually spent decades researching the science to figure out exactly why people say yes. And what he found is that there are 6 powerful pillars of influence. Once you know what they are, I promise you'll start seeing them absolutely everywhere. Let's uncover these invisible forces, starting with the first 2, reciprocity and consistency. Have you ever fallen for the reciprocity trap? I'm talking about free samples at the grocery store, free software trials, or those little free mints you get at a restaurant. Actually, studies show that just leaving one free mint can increase a waiter's tip by over 3%. Crazy, right? But it works because, as humans, we absolutely despise feeling indebted. When a charity sends you a free pen in the mail, it creates this immense psychological pressure to return the favor. It's an ancient survival instinct. Thousands of years ago, returning favors helped our ancestors survive and build communities. Today, that exact same instinct just makes you way more likely to pull out your wallet because someone handed you a tiny gift. Then we have the consistency loop. This goes from a small request to a commitment to a much bigger action. Our brains deeply crave identity matching. We want our actions to align with who we say we are. Marketers know this, so they'll deliberately ask you for a tiny favor first. Maybe it's just signing a simple online petition or dropping your email for a free newsletter. But once you make that small commitment, you feel psychological pressure to stay consistent on that path. That's exactly why signing a petition makes you significantly more likely to donate money later on. A small yes almost always paves the way for a much bigger yes. Next up, we rely heavily on society and experts. Enter social proof and authority. Picture this. You're visiting a new city, you're hungry, and you see 2 restaurants. One is totally empty, and the other is super busy with a massive line of customers out the door. Which one are you choosing? Almost everyone naturally goes for the busy one. When we're uncertain, we just blindly copy the behavior of others. We basically assume the crowd knows something we don't. These social proof triggers are everywhere in our daily lives. Reviews, ratings, comments, follower counts, likes. Even a bestseller tag on a website is explicitly telling your brain, hey, if everyone else likes it, it must be good. But there's a slightly darker side to this. This exact same mechanism is what causes panic and misinformation to spread like wildfire. If everyone starts buying something or sharing a post online, others just quickly follow suit without even stopping to verify it. And that leads right into authority, where we use experts as a shortcut for trust. Humans naturally defer to authority figures to make our decisions easier. If you see someone in a white lab coat, even if they're literally just an actor in a toothpaste commercial saying it's recommended by dentists, it tricks your brain into assuming the information is correct. Advertisers know that featuring experts or professional titles instantly builds trust and completely bypasses our normal critical thinking filters. Finally, let's look at 2 forces that bypass logic entirely to target our emotions: liking and scarcity. The principle of liking is super straightforward. We prefer to say yes to the familiar and the friendly. We inherently trust people who are attractive, people who are similar to us, or people who compliment us. This is the entire reason companies use relatable influencers. A lot of the time, we buy a product just because our favorite creator recommended it, not because we researched the product's quality, but because familiarity creates instant trust.
The more we like someone, the easier it is for them to persuade us.
And then we have this, just the number 2. Only 2 left. Seeing this delivers a visceral shock to your nervous system. Think about the chaos of Black Friday sales, or trying to buy limited edition sneakers, or fighting for concert tickets. When things become hard to get, or a flash sale is ending in 24 hours, their perceived value absolutely skyrockets. That is the incredible power of scarcity. So why does scarcity work so incredibly well on us? Simply put, it triggers FOMO, the fear of missing out. This is one of our absolute strongest psychological fears. Our brains fundamentally hate losing opportunities. It's fascinating, really, because you can literally not care about an item at all, but the second you're told it's a limited edition and selling out, you suddenly have to have it just to ensure you don't miss out. We've seen the 6 strengths. Now, let's talk about why our brains actually comply with them.
Look, every single day, your brain has to process an exhausting amount of data. To survive this massive onslaught of information and save precious energy, your brain relies on mental shortcuts and automatic patterns. Like we mentioned earlier, these are deep survival instincts that evolved over thousands of years. The big takeaway here is that persuasion tactics aren't magic, they're just hijacking these exact automatic energy-saving patterns. These shortcuts make us efficient, for sure, but they also make us incredibly predictable targets. So how do we protect ourselves? Let's take a look at how to cut those invisible strings. First things first, we have to distinguish between inspiration and manipulation. Persuasion itself isn't inherently evil. It's just a tool. It can be used to teach, guide, and inspire people to do really great things. But it can absolutely be used to manipulate you too. Because of that, your ultimate defense against manipulation isn't just turning off the internet and avoiding society. It's awareness. So here's a practical action plan for you. The next time you're browsing online and you see a ticking countdown timer, or you're hit with a massive wall of 5-star reviews, or someone offers you a free gift in a store, just pause. Stop for one brief moment and ask yourself, do I truly want this, or am I being influenced right now? Creating that tiny moment of friction breaks the automatic shortcut. I'll leave you with this really powerful thought. The greatest influence is not controlling others. It's understanding how you're being influenced. Once you truly grasp the psychology of persuasion, and you can see those invisible strings for what they actually are, you get to take back control of your own mind. You become an empowered consumer. So the next time you reach for your wallet or click agree, ask yourself, whose decision is this really?